Hello everyone, this is Shelby here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video because I just realized that we have passed quarter 3 of the year. That's hard to believe, but I thought it was time that we talk about my recent favorite books. So I'll be talking about the books that I've read in the third quarter of the year. So these will be like July through September, books that I'm obsessed with. I love these books. These are contenders for my favorite books of the year. I'm obsessed with them, and I need all of you to read these like ASAP. Like, you need to read them before the end of the year. If you have to wait till the end of the year, I guess that's fine. But you really should read these because they're fantastic. I adored all of these. And this should be a pretty quick wrap up because I didn't actually rate too many books 5 stars for some reason. I didn't rate any book that I read in September 5 stars, which is really surprising, especially for this year. Past years, I'm just a very stingy 5-star giver, but I was expecting to have some with this last month, but that's okay. I still have all of these obsessions. And one that it's kind of cheating because it's a book that I read here in October, but I'm going to go ahead and count it because I need you to read it because I loved it. I just finished it like a couple of days ago. But before we get into all of those books, please make sure if you like this video that you are hitting the thumbs up button and also subscribing if you haven't already. I very much appreciate it. You know, I post all of these romance book recommendation videos and we talk about all these lovely romance books. We have a good time. So thank you for joining us today. But yes, so we're going to get right into these. Hopefully this isn't a super long video, but you need to read all of these. So first up, I have, which are always surprised, the entire Lionese trilogy, because it was hard for me to just put like one book from this trilogy on here. Like, you have to read all of these books for it to make sense because they end on cliffhangers and you have to read the entire series. But yes, I am a Sarah Simone stan for life. So again, are we surprised that these are books that I am obsessed with? The first book, Salt Kiss, if you haven't read it yet, this is a Tristan and Isolde retelling, but it is a throuple romance. Tristan is hired by his new step-uncle to be his bodyguard. His step-uncle is Mark, and he's pretty much king of his own little like world. He owns a sex club, and people that go to the sex club are very prestigious, but it's not money that he takes, it's secrets. You have to pay in secrets in order to join and become a member of this sex club. So Tristan gets hired as a bodyguard. He's very enamored with Mark, and they start a sexual relationship together. And then Mark makes it known that he has a fiance. And later in the story, he has Tristan go across the sea and go fetch his bride for him. And then he finds himself also falling for Isolde, Mark's bride. And this just becomes a very messy, tangled web between these 3 characters. This has like espionage and kind of reminded me a little bit of like a spy thriller, although I would not consider this series romantic suspense or thrillery like of any sort. But it's just, I don't know, Sarah Simone's writing is just something that I've always been enamored by, with the sheer like the depth of her characters. These are all very flawed characters. They're very emotional and they're very spicy books as well. They explore lots of kinks, especially BDSM is a huge kink. And so, yes, so the last book, Bitterburn, came out at the very end of September. I had the chance to arc read this. So this was Mark's POV finally. While I was expecting to rate this one 5 stars, I rated it more like 4 stars. It just didn't wow me as much as I was expecting it to, but it still, I loved it. I loved this entire series and all of these stories. So if you haven't picked these up, I would highly recommend it. However, there's also a caveat to picking these books up. If you haven't read her New Camelot series, which is American Queen, American Prince, and American King, definitely read that before picking these books up, because this has major spoilers for the end of that series. So definitely go into that series first. And it's honestly like, I think my favorite out of all of Sierra Simone's books is the New Camelot series, but this one is just, I'm obsessed with these characters. I love them so much. And I'm so excited to get more Sierra Simone books. And then another book that I feel like shouldn't be as much of a surprise, because within the past year, I have talked so much about this author and how much I love her, and that's going to be Tourist Trap by Morgan Elizabeth. Now, this is a summer romance, so you could absolutely read it now. It definitely gives summer vibes because our female main character in this one, she has just broken up with her boyfriend, and now she is coming to the Jersey Shore, and she gets a job as a beach lifeguard, and she's needing a place to stay while she's there, and she ends up getting a room with her ex-boyfriend's older brother, who she's been really friendly with, and they secretly have had a crush on one another this entire time, but she was with his brother. It gives the classic grumpy sunshine trope, which is in all of Morgan Elizabeth's books. So yes, Morgan Elizabeth is an author that I am obsessed with. I adore every single book from hers that I pick up. I know I'm going to have a good time with it. This one honestly might be one of the steamiest books in her repertoire, which, to be fair, like, all of her books are pretty steamy. This one might be the steamiest. Like, there's a scene with a lifeguard stand, but this one, just these two characters, I was laughing out loud with the shenanigans that they get into, but I also adored the emotions that were played in this one, because it has that "it's always been you" kind of trope to it. And once these characters give into their desires and realize that they are in love with each other and that they want to be with each other, Morgan Elizabeth has some of the best book boyfriends in her books. This one was no exception. He is just, he's so devoted to her, and she drives him crazy sometimes, but he doesn't care. Like, he's gonna do whatever she wants, whatever strange and whim that she has, he's gonna do whatever she wants to make her happy. And I loved these characters so much. I think this one is supposed to turn into a series at some point. I think Morgan Elizabeth is waiting until next summer to put out another book. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what the plan is, and I'm super excited for that. I'm excited to get more books in this world. I adored this book. It was fantastic. I had such a great time reading this one. Then an author I have never picked up before in my entire life, and that is Rebecca Kincaid. So this book, Streams and Schemes, is the book that I read. This is the first book of a series, which I don't remember what the series name is called. I have to continue this series and read the rest of the books in this one, because this book had me in such a chokehold. I finished this so quickly. I am obsessed with this book and these characters. This is a rom-com, and this features these two neighbors. Our female main character, she is a cam girl, and that's how she makes her living, and she loves her job. And her next door neighbor is a lawyer, and he likes to watch her, although she doesn't know this about him. because he feels like it's kind of weird to bring up in conversation. But they are living in Washington, D.C., and they get this text alert, this emergency text alert, like in the middle of the night, that there is a missile that is heading towards D.C. and that they should seek shelter. And it's going to be happening in about 15 minutes. And so both of them run into each other, and they decide, instead of trying to go seek shelter, that they would rather just live their last moments doing something fun. And both of these characters have had the hots for one another, but they've never really like interacted too much with one another. And they decide that they're going to bang it out until the end of the world, basically. So they have this like one night stand. Turns out that that text alert was a false alarm. Everything was fine. And so now they have to like keep running into each other because they're next door neighbors. And our male main character, he is obsessed with her, and he decides that he doesn't want to just have a one night stand, that he wants her to be his girlfriend. He wants her, and he's obsessed with her. But she has a rule that she doesn't date lawyers. So she keeps shooting him down, and he comes up with all of these different schemes to try to be with her until she finally wears down and says yes to him. And I loved these characters because, number one, he's a consent king, but he's also very sex positive, and he loves what she does. And he doesn't want her to stop doing what she loves. And I just love that. Like, I'm obsessed with that. She's also a very strong female main character, knows what she wants, and I love that she keeps saying no to him. And it's just so good. It's so freaking steamy. Like, so steamy, which of course, because she's a sex worker, so steamy. And I also loved that this had such great character growth in this, especially the male main character, because part of the reason why she keeps turning him down is because he is this white man. He's a lawyer, so he feels entitled that he should get what he wants. And so he does a lot of growth and learning from her. And that's another thing that I just eat up in stories. Our female main character is also curvy, and she's Latina, and she's just fabulous. I loved everything about this story. And there's 2 more books in this series, and she's got some other books too. And I want to devour them. I want to read all of them. I need to pick up book 2 because the rest of the books are also about sex workers. They're about her friends that she sometimes streams with as well. I love it. I'm obsessed. I need y'all to read it. And then we have A Soul to Keep by Oprah Rain, which this is not a new obsession. I've been obsessed with this book since I first read it, but I reread this book because I wanted to continue on with the series, which I have. I'm actually currently on book 3 of this series, and I'm quite enjoying all of these books in here. I know this is one that I'm bound and determined that I'm going to finish the series and read it till the end, because all of these characters, Oprah Rain just has such a way of writing such like unique worlds and these characters that are so complex, but like monstrous too. I don't know. So this first book, if you haven't read this series yet, our female main character is ostracized from her town. They think that she is a bad omen and like a harbinger of evil things. So there is a Duskwalker, which is like a monstrous creature that comes to their town every so often in exchange. Like, he comes and he takes one of the humans in exchange for him giving them some different like protections against demons. And so this year, the town has decided to basically sacrifice her to this Duskwalker, and she is going back with him, and she has no idea why he takes these humans. She doesn't know if she's going to die, if he's going to eat her. But he takes her back to his home and realizes he's actually built a cabin in the void, which is where all of like the demons are from. And he's just really lonely, and he wants a companion to be with him and entertain him and for him to protect them. And this forms such a sweet romance between these two characters. Like, it's truly one of the sweetest romances that I have ever read. And I love these characters so much. It's very steamy. It's weird, and like the creature features on this one are out there. So just be warned about that. But I am obsessed. I love this. And I've really been loving the other books in this series too. Like I said, I am on book 3 currently, and I will be continuing for sure. And then the last book that I have to talk about, which is kind of a bonus because like I said, this book I read 2 days ago. So technically not a quarter 3 favorite, but I needed to tell you about it because I need you all to read this when it comes out. So I just read the arc for Feeling the Heat Part 1 by Emily Antoinette. This is her first foray into omegaverse stories, and I'm obsessed with this. I read this within, it was 48 hours that I read this in. But I was also working those 2 days that I read this. Had I not been working, I would have finished this in a day because I did not want to put this book down. I could not stop reading. I loved these characters. So this one is about our female main character, and our first chapter, it is her 40th birthday, and she has previously thought that she was a beta. Turns out she's going into heat on her birthday. She's actually a very late presenting omega. And she's very freaked out about this because she's like, I'm 40. It shouldn't be now that I'm finding out that I'm omega. I don't know anything about being an omega. So her friend takes her to a heat clinic, and she meets a very sexy doctor who turns out to be her sit match, although at the time she doesn't know what that is. And so then she like picks somebody to help her through her heat, which happens to be this like super sexy beta who is in Dr. Sexy's pack. And she has a really great heat with the two of them, and they want to explore more with her. However, they have another member of their pack who just so happens to be her boss, whom she does not like. So there's some conflict in here. This has a little bit of that, like, I guess it's not necessarily like idiots in love trope, although all of these characters are idiots at some point in this story. There's definitely some frustrations that I had with these characters with like not communicating. But it was so good. It does end on a cliffhanger, and part 2, I believe, is going to be coming out in November, which I am so hyped for. I cannot wait for it, for these characters to get their AGAs, to get their heads out of their asses. I just need it. It's steamy, and I just love these characters too, because all of these characters are, I think 35 is the youngest, and then Dr. Daddy, Dr. Sexy, he is 48. And so like he's got like gray hair. She's starting to get some grays. She's got some wrinkles. She's also plus size, so she's got stretch marks, and these men are obsessed with her. I think she's the sexiest fucking thing that they have ever seen. And I love that. I love seeing quote unquote older characters in books, although 35 is not old, 40 is not old, 48 is not old. But like most of the books that we get, like all of the characters are in their like early 20s, mid 20s. They haven't even hit 30 yet. So I don't know. I loved having all of these characters be a little bit older and have like the hottest of hot sex. It's so good. I am obsessed with it and I need part two like now. I need it now. I need it. And I need all of you to read it too, so you can be obsessed with it along with me. So, but that is going to be it for all of my current obsessions. Definitely make sure to check all of these books out because you will not regret it. I loved every single one of them. But that's going to be it for this one. Let me know some of the books that you have recently read that you have been obsessed with so that I can have some more obsessions as well. But otherwise, I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.